Yippee! Hey everybody, welcome to week 13. First off, I'm sorry I didn't get this up before the week started. I got my second COVID shot on Saturday, and it felt like Vladimir Putin punched my arm. I was in a lot of pain. Oh, woe is me, yeah, I know. But that's why I wasn't down here doing the grading. But I'm going to get to that. That's why I wasn't down here doing this video, but I'm going to get to that and the grading here very shortly. So you will have your technical descriptions graded by the end of the week. Let's talk about some things. First off, I want to talk about the formal recommendation report because I've been getting a lot of questions on it. First thing you need to know is that, yeah, I know the peer review session is going on this week, starting on Wednesday, and that's before the presentation deadline. We'll talk about the presentation later, and there's a reason for that. I wanted you to be able to have a draft of your paper done before you did the presentation, so you had something to base it on. You have plenty of time to fix your paper if your rough draft isn't as good as you would like. And because it's not due until Wednesday, 4/28. So I hope you take the opportunity to make it look as good as possible. I'm not going to compare and contrast what you turned in the peer review session to what you turn in at the end. When we do the online briefing, when I give you my comments on that, you can also look at that as an opportunity to get feedback to improve your paper. Now, I've had a few people who've asked questions about the formal recommendation report, and the first thing I need to make clear is I'm not going to judge you based on whether your idea is technically viable. This is a writing class, not a science class, so as long as your suggestion, your recommendation seems relatively straightforward or relatively doable, I'm fine with that. The major things you are going to be graded on is how well you use the form. Do you follow the format? Do you include all of the pieces? There is a list in the major assignment sheet, and that is something that you need to make sure you follow. You'll be shocked at how many people turn in stuff that just skips over things I specifically outline as being required. Are you selling a product? You would again be shocked at the amount of people who write their formal recommendation report on a consumer item. I don't know about you, but when I bought my phone, I didn't look for a formal recommendation report. The formal recommendation report is the kind of thing that you use when you're trying to secure the backing of a major organization, a governmental agency, a corporation, a nonprofit, a school district, a whatever. It is a business style document, and most of us will be working in business-like industries. So, making sure you're selling a product. The other reason I state that is because one of the common things that pops up in the formal recommendation report is people spend more time on the problem than they do on the solution. The goal of this is to try to get someone to invest in your product, so the product needs to be the main part. The body, excluding the front and back matter, needs to be 5 pages minimum, but that does include visuals. So charts, graphs, pictures. You want to make sure that you provide enough information about your product where someone can make a decision. Again, if you use something that's sort of like it that you find online, that's fine for our purposes. But you would be shocked at the amount of people who try to convince someone that they need to invest in this computer software and then never show the computer software. Again, I don't care if the image is actually the... Look, for pictures of your new product, you can draw them in pencil for all I care. It's the idea of finding images that work to provide information you can't do in words. So, sell a product. Sell it to a specific organization, which is why we did the audience analysis memo. Have your document primarily a sales job. The front matter includes a letter or transmittal. Basically, you're going to look at this as, I'm dropping off this report at this organization. The letter is the thing that says, hey, this is my report. Hope you enjoy it. Loves. Title page, table of contents, list of illustration, which is a table of contents for all the images, and an abstract. Each of those sections go on their own page. The text has 4 specific sections for the introduction. I don't have specific sections for the body/discussion, because it's going to depend on what your subject is, what your product is. Divide it up how you need to. There'll be a conclusion that presents overall findings and recommendations, back matter, the glossary, and the works cited. So that's a bit about the formal recommendation report. Another question that people have been asking. You can use information from previous assignments here. If there's facts from the infographic, by all means, use them in the report. By all means, use the images if you need to. If you can use the sources from the research abstract. One person has already asked if they can use some of the diagrams from their technical description in the formal report. Yes, by all means. If you can make this as problem-free as possible for you, that would be fine by me. As I said, I'm going to look to see if you're following the format and that it is ultimately a sales document to a specific group. You do those things and do them well, you're fine. We'll be doing an oral briefing week 14, Monday at noon. So a week from today, basically, where you're going to do a 5-minute version of this online. Look, if we were in an in-person class, I'd probably make you all get up in front of the class and present it as if we're the board of directors. Because people do that. However, an increasingly normal part of the process is having an online version, a YouTube video, a website, a PowerPoint with voices, or something for the people who can't make it to the actual presentation. And this was the case even before the pandemic, and now we're doing everything virtual. So it'll be a 5-minute presentation minimum. Generally, a page of double-spaced text takes about 2 minutes to read. So it will be a condensation, most likely, of your final report. So you'll need to be a bit selective. You should also look at the presentation as a practice run for your final draft of the report. Hopefully, in going over the visual aspect of it and the presentation part of it, you'll learn things that you need to soup up your formal recommendation report. So that's due Monday. It can be a PowerPoint. Most people turn in a PowerPoint with a voiceover. It can be a YouTube video. Lots of people do that. You can do a Prezi. You can do something else if it works and conveys the information. And if you have specific questions about that, ask me. Now, in terms of what we got coming up for this week, we have the formal report peer review session, and I really haven't given you a lot other than that. We have videos on both the sample recommendation report and the sample recommendation report 2, one you did individually, one you did in groups, and going over how other people did this assignment or something like it is going to be really good for you, seeing if you're making the same kind of issues. So spend some time on those videos and compare and contrast yours. See if you're doing anything that I mentioned in any of those videos. Also, just have a brief how you doing. We haven't had a lot of time to spare, and I know the pandemic is kind of rough. So, are you doing okay? Are you hanging in there? Are you handling the pandemic? Are you handling the stress? Let me know. You get some credit for it. And I think that's pretty much all we got. Work on your formal report, get it posted for the peer review session on Wednesday, watch those videos, do the how you doing, and I will see you in week 14. A lucky number.